Hi everyone, today I have quite unusual combo for me because I'm working on the craft paper and with acrylics. It's Asia here, Lemon Creation. Thank you for stopping by. Craft paper is for me a hard paper to work on because not everything goes with craft paper. But what I really love to use are the opaque acrylics. These ones I have, they are chalk acrylics from PaperArtsy. And if you know me, you know I love chalk acrylics from PaperArtsy. They are so cool. They have translucent, semi-opaque, and opaque. So for this project, because I'm working on the craft paper, I decided to go for the opaque colors. And I have a Glacier Glacier Ice, I think. That's the first one I'm using right now. And the other is Lavender. And just to be sure that I didn't make any mistake, the full list of products you're gonna find in the description box below this video. So check that out because you're gonna get the links there also, so you don't have to browse internet for hours. But in general, I give you also the links to the products so you can use them. So my best application method, if it comes to the acrylics, is brayer. Now, I love the brayer very much. Sometimes I use a brush, but I use rather a big brush, like a wide one, and I mix the colors on the brush or on the paper before, or not on the paper, on the palette before. But this time I opted for the brayer and it gives me this kind of like grungy look. Again, I think like kind of messy. And I am gonna be embossing one of my stamps. This one, if I'm not mistaken, is Pure Chaos. I am always mixing up Pure Chaos and Perfect Mess. I'm not sure why, but those two stamps are always like I cannot get the name of them right. And I am embossing it with Lindy's obviously black embossing powder. And so first of all, you have to be sure that the paint underneath is quite dry. Then I am passing on the page anti-static cushion just to be sure that I don't have too much powder all over the place. But if that happens, as you've seen me, I am taking old brush, like a brush with which I am not painting anymore, and I'm removing the excess of the powder. And I wanted to add a little bit of lines because I like to kind of ground my my projects, or maybe my focal point in this case. And I got this Zig embossed pen, and I really like. I used to have the one from Rangers, but they dry out with the time. They were really good also. So I got the chance to buy this one, and I bought it, and it's quite nice also. And the good thing is with this pen is that you can use it for calligraphy because it has the chisel nib, but you can also just use the small tiny nib and just draw and then emboss it. So that's very cool. And if you emboss a lot, it's quite good to have something like that at hand. And for the very first time, not maybe for the very first time, because I used already the small triangle there for one of my projects, but the rest of the stamps I haven't used. So this is the view of my new set of stamps, triangle formula. And so because they are brand new and they are quite sticky, I am just passing through them a little bit the, how do you call it, eraser. And like that, I remove this stickiness, and then they are, look at that, guys, they are stamping very nicely, even though there is already some texture. I'm trying to actually stamp beside the paints, but there is some texture with the paint, and despite that, they are stamping the very, very, very first time, they are stamping quite nice. And so I'm going this time just for the numbers. As I mentioned, I used for one of my shorts, I used already the triangles. So I'm trying to be versatile, I think. And I wanted to do as almost, well, not always, but quite often, kind of grungy page, but this one is really, really, really grungy. So you know, I love that about art journaling. This is my way of, I don't know, maybe releasing the bad emotion you accumulate every day. I'm not sure, but I like to actually put them on the paper, and that's why maybe my pages are quite grungy and quite I wouldn't say dark. I don't think they are dark really, but I like to do it, and I prefer to actually put my feelings on the page. And that's why the grunge, for me, it comes so handy. And on top of that, you know, I'm not a perfectionist, so I repeat that always or quite often. So this type of journaling is just perfect for me. Even though I love very much the very nice proper type of journaling. So many of you do, but well, this is my way of doing things. I am using another stamp of mine and really trying to put kind of like an industrial spin on the things and make happen a lot of things on the page. And I wanted to add some black splatters. So the first thing I actually found was my palette with watercolors. So I'm using the black watercolor because I don't mind. I knew at this point I'm not gonna be adding any wet mediums to the page, so I can use my black watercolors because I know that it will stay in place. I try them quickly, and then for the focal point, the main focal point, I decided to go with this die cut from Aall Create. That's die cut number 12. And I was not sure. I was thinking the white is not good enough for this page because it's too big of a contrast. So I decided to actually go for the black. And as you've seen, I cut part of the die cut because it was way too big. And because I didn't fancy taking out my, you know, my cutting machine, my Cuttlebag, I just, and you know, cutting it on the black paper, I am using my acrylic marker from ARRTX, which is super perfect to make, you know, to colorize the die cuts. Of course, it's not gonna be as perfect as the paper as if you were to cut it from the black paper, but it's quite nice already. And then I thought it's too dark, you know, even for me, way too much black. So I said to myself that the small numbers, which are actually coming from this die cut, there would be they would be really nice to, you know, to fill up the page and to just give a little bit of white to the page. I didn't like the big ones though. So after a moment I decided that this is not the way to go, and also there is not that many numbers in this die cut because as you can see there are, I think, 3 or 5 numbers, no, more than 3. Probably 5 or 6 numbers, and you know, I couldn't really find the good ones. Or maybe there are all numbers, I'm not sure actually. Either way, because I have this die cut from PaperArtsy, I used to be a designer for them. I decided that I'm gonna actually take the numbers from this die because they are way smaller. They are less grungy than the one from Aall Create, but they are way smaller, and they kind of, I thought they just worked better on this page. To glue all the pieces together, I am using tacky glue. You can use also matte gel, for example, or any type of gel or Bosch, I think, or whatever. It's the the American name for the glue, but for me, I'm using this one, and it's been lasting for a long time already. This tube of tacky glue. And it's quite tricky when you have a very intricate die like that, but you know, you can make it work. And when I was trying to put it on the page, I just decided that this would be the best way to actually adhere it to the page instead of vertical, horizontal way, because why not? Even though I have these vertical lines I made with the embossing pen, I think that this way the die was also more visible because it actually went almost 1/3 of it went onto the Kraft paper. And also, to add a little bit more of this coherence to the page, a little bit of white splatter, this time with, once again, PaperArtsy Chalk Acrylics Snowflake. And it's beautiful. It's one of my favorite paints, even it's just white color, but it's just so beautiful and it appears on every surface so nicely. It's quite opaque and I really love it. And I was thinking that would be the end. And actually, I even took the page after drying it and show it to the camera, thinking, okay, it's finished. But then I decided to go one step further. But before I did that, I am drying my splatter. But if you dry your splatter a little bit and then remove or dab it with the tissue, you usually get, on the big splatter, you usually get the insides of the splatter empty, which is super cool. So you get only, you know, the outside painted, like, you know, the shape of the splatter, and inside is empty. I hope you got what I meant. If not, you should see it on the close-ups. And after adding the sentiment from my super messy words, that's the thing I went for. And it's also very unusual for me. If you know me, you know I am not very much for a splatter. And not for a splatter, sorry, for a sparkle. And this time I decided to actually, to my grunge page, add some sparkle. And those are the small hexagonal kind of, I don't know, sparkly things. And the best way to actually add things like that, you know, like something bigger, is to actually throw it on the page. They fall nicely and randomly, and then you just pick them up and you glue them. I'm using the toothpick to add the glue, and with my other tool, which I forgot the name right now, I'm just pushing them to the place when I placed a tiny dot of glue. And so that's it. So it's a funny page. It's a grunge, a little bit industrial and dark, but at the same time with a sparkle. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. And that would be all from me in this video. Thank you so very much for subscribing. Please check my shop. I have 5 new products in the shop and still old prices. So check that out. Link in the description box below. And I'm sending you big hugs and wishing you a beautiful day, and see you soon. Bye bye.